The video you're about to watch was originally filmed about 2 months ago, at the end of August when the tomato production was at its peak. I'd originally planned this to be the second in a 6-part series covering all of the tomato vines, their growing habits, production rates, and then the quality of the fruits. But life being what it is, that just didn't work out. We had a cooler than expected August and a lot of rain, and at the end of the month diseases started to take over and the tomato vine production really reduced. In September it got cool early, and that also slowed down the tomato production. And now we're all the way at the end of October, and the plants are still producing, but really not that many tomatoes on the vines. I'll try to film one more video before the end of the season when the first frost kills all the tomato plants. They are still producing, and even the determinate tomatoes still have tomatoes growing on them, which is a surprise. The only ones that died off so far were the mortgage lifter, the large red cherries in the containers, and the purple Russians. The rest are all still growing. So here's part 2 of Tomatoes in Review for 2020. If any of you know what this is, leave a message in the comments. It's some sort of leather container. Bigger around on one end than on the other. Obviously has a special purpose in life. I got it in a box of old tools from someone who looks like they used to do refrigeration work. Today we're going to look at the 2 varieties of determinate tomatoes I grew. For those who aren't familiar, a determinate variety of tomatoes grows to a certain size, sets all of its fruit, and when the fruit ripens, the plant dies off. The other type of tomato, the indeterminate, will continue to grow longer and taller throughout the season until it's killed by a frost, and it will also continue to set fruit until it's killed by a frost. I don't know how much longer these plants will survive. The plant on the right is a Supremo, and the one on the left is an Ace 55. They both still have some small fruits that are growing, but I don't think they're going to grow much bigger than they are right now. Here's a typical fruit on the Supremo. This is about average size. This one hasn't ripened yet. And if you look over here, it looks like it's setting a couple more small ones. And here's an Ace 55. You can get an idea of the size. This one's got a lot of bug damage. I don't know if we'll be able to eat it or not. And it also has some smaller fruits up here that are just starting to grow. The plants have not done particularly well in the container. I haven't had the time to keep it watered and fertilized, and so you can see the plants are not as robust as they could be if they received better care. So if you're going to grow in a container, make sure you are meticulous in watering and fertilizing. I guess the cat likes to join us for these videos. Both of those plants were grown from seed from Botanical Interests. The Supremo is a very fast maturing plant with tomatoes ready to pick in 68 days. The Ace 55 takes a little longer, 80 days. I only have one Supremo growing here. I gave all the rest away, but I do have 2 more Ace 55s here. You can see how much bigger these plants are. I'll go stand next to them for a comparison. And these plants are producing some really big tomatoes. This one has suffered a little bit of damage from splitting. And here's another one that's ready to pick. And I'll grab a couple of these beefsteaks while I'm out here. It's hard to believe, but it looks like one of my garden leader monsters escaped the animals. I'll pick this one before it goes away. And I'll grab a few cherry tomatoes. So that's my tomatoes for today. We'll take them inside and wash them up. Have a few for dinner. I'd say that weighs somewhere between 5 and 7 pounds.